Here are a few examples of how the loss of religious liberty is coming to a neighborhood near you. In 2013, a florist in Richland, Washington refused to provide flowers for a gay wedding and rejected an offer to settle her discrimination case by paying a fine claiming she won't sell her freedom. A Gresham, Oregon baker that refused to make a wedding cake for a homosexual couple became the subject of a statewide investigation. The baker drew a large number of supporters and protesters and has since closed. The owner of a pizzeria in Indiana said he was surprised by the backlash online following comments he and his family made in support of the state's much-discussed Religious Freedom Restoration Act. The O'Connor family, who owned Memories Pizza in Walkerton, Indiana, told a local TV station that because of their religious beliefs, they wouldn't cater a gay wedding. In reaction, hundreds took to the restaurant's Yelp page and flooded it with negative comments, one-star ratings, and photographs of scantily clad men. The O'Connors closed the business and left town after having received death threats. A judge in Denver, Colorado ordered a privately owned business in Denver to serve a homosexual couple or face fines, even though doing so violates the business owner's Christian religious beliefs. And let's not forget Kim Davis, the Kentucky county clerk, who refused to sign marriage licenses for gay couples and was thrown in jail until she changed her mind, which, by the way, she didn't. Eventually, the judge capitulated under public pressure and released her. Churches in Lake Worth, Florida, population 36,000, have been ordered to acquire a business license, as if the church has to get the government's permission to preach and to pray. City officials were so concerned about one congregation that they dispatched a code enforcement officer cloaked in a hoodie to spy on a Southern Baptist church that was meeting in a coffee house. And in a rather large Big Brother move, the previous mayor of the city of Houston issued subpoenas to some pastors to turn over sermons during the dealing with homosexuality, gender identity, or the mayor herself, Anise Parker, a Democrat, who is the city's first openly lesbian mayor. Any minister who failed to comply could be held in contempt of court. Parker was trying to silence pastors from discussing her or her gay agenda through intimidation and by publicly shaming them as anti-gay bigots. Lest you believe that's the end of it, here are a number of more recent developments, just to name a few. The left-leaning Supreme Court of Italy last week ruled that public masturbation is legal, except in front of minors. The democratically controlled New York City Council voted in May that public urination is not a criminal act. The San Francisco City Council, also largely Democratic, decided by one vote to continue the city's ban on public nudity, not of course on the grounds of decency, but on the grounds of public health. Since that can easily be resolved by using a towel on public benches and chairs, it's only a matter of time, probably just a couple of years, before people will be permitted to walk around naked in San Francisco. A few weeks ago, teachers in Charlotte, North Carolina, under Democratic Mayor Jennifer Roberts, were instructed not to refer to their elementary school students as boys and girls, but as students and scholars. The reasoning is presumably for inclusivity. There may be a student who has no gender identity, and that adults should not impose a gender identity on young people. In a New York Times op-ed column, a professor of philosophy noted his shock at learning that most young Americans do not believe that moral truths exist. They are incapable of asserting that anything, including killing for fun, is wrong beyond personal opinion. These are all inevitable consequences of the death of belief in God and Judeo-Christian values, and of the Bible as society's primary moral reference work. Radical and aggressive secularism and atheism have replaced religion in virtually every school and throughout American public life. We have gone from President Abraham Lincoln reading the Bible every day to Alaska Airlines feeling forced to stop passing out prayer cards with meals. In 100 years, we've gone from near total biblical literacy to near total biblical illiteracy. One wonders whether half of America's college seniors could correctly identify Cain and Abel, or whether more than 1 in 10 Americans could cite the Ten Commandments. We have gone from President Franklin Delano Roosevelt proclaiming the need to save Christian civilization in World War II speeches, to a political party voting to eliminate the use of God's name in their party platform, and to a virtual ban on American presidents mentioning the word Christianity. And, as is widely noted, Americans are no longer supposed to greet each other with the words Merry Christmas, but must refer to a Christmas party as a holiday party. The price that we Americans are paying for creating the first godless society in recorded history amount to civilizational suicide. There is no way to prove that God exists, but what is provable is what happens when societies stop believing in God. They commit suicide. What's next? Look for bigamy, 3 or more men or women getting married. Well, if 2 is okay, what's wrong with 3? And pastors being forced to marry gay couples at the risk of intimidation and loss of tax-exempt status. A vote for a Democrat will effectively continue the demise of Judeo-Christian values in the United States, and you, my friend, will have no defense because you have contributed to your own destruction. I urge you to think clearly and biblically about your choice for president. This election is not about personalities, although that is what the media would have you believe. Both candidates are severely flawed. It is about, however, the party they represent and the direction those parties want to take us. The Republicans want to restore constitutional law, fiscal sanity, and individual liberty. The Democrats, who are now leftists, want to push us further toward socialism, multiculturalism, and godlessness. Which will you choose? The fate of this country is literally in your hands.